Hey, hope you're doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why making $1,000 a day is much easier than you think. So here is what I've created and put together. It's a short presentation, but just to show you that I know what I'm talking about is here is a screenshot of my Stripe. So in March, from March 1st until March 31st, my business collected $35,000. This is my agency. It collected $35,000, and that equals out to a little bit more than $1,000 per day because obviously there's 31 days, and I made 35K for the agency, meaning I made more than $1,000 a day. So in this video, I'm going to be running you through this entire flowchart and explaining to you why it's actually easier than you think to make $1,000 a day. So before we even talking about how to even get to $1,000 a day, I think the number one thing to figure out is how to make $10,000 a month. And what that equals out to is $333 a day, right? So using this exact same process, it has allowed me to make $1,000 a day. But we're gonna first understand what it actually takes to make $300 per day, right? So getting to $10,000 a month or $300 a day is actually extremely simple. And let me explain what I mean. Because if we think about what $10,000 a month is, that's obviously the revenue goal. But as a lead generation agency, what that really means is you really only need 4 clients, right? Just 4. You don't need 10 clients, you don't need 20 clients, you just need 4 clients. And each of those clients only needs to pay you $2,500. And that will equate to you making $10,000 a day, right? So if one client is paying you $2,000 to $3,000, that's one client. You get 4 of them, you'll be at $10,000 a month, right? It's very, very simple. And obviously, I'm breaking it down like this. And obviously, you might be watching this video and you might be like, Jimmy, that's completely common sense, right? But a lot of people, they actually overthink what it takes to get to 10K a month. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of different gurus talking about you to do this, do that, focus on this, focus on that to get to 10K per month. But if you're watching this video, if there's only one takeaway for you, is understand that you only need 4 clients. It's not rocket science. You don't need 30 clients. You don't need 100 clients. You only need 4 clients with one of them, each of them paying you $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and you'd be at $10,000 a month, right? So how exactly do we get 4 clients is the next question, right? We understand that you only need 4. How do we get 4 clients? Well, I broke it down into 5 simple steps to actually get to $10,000 a month or $300 a day. So the very first step is understand what are you selling, right? And is your service inherently valuable? Because the type of business owners that will pay you $2,000 to $3,000, they're not going to pay you $3,000 for you to deliver some random service, right? They're not going to pay you $3,000 for you to deliver video editing. You need to make sure that your service is valuable, right? The service that you need to be selling, it should be tied to a tangible outcome, right? So as a lead generation agency, the type of offer, the type of service that we're selling is we're approaching business owners and telling them, hey, we will help you generate sales calls. We will help you generate leads. But those sales calls, those leads, what does that mean? What does that translate into? Well, those sales calls, those leads, it translates into new customers, new clients. And what that means for business owners, for your clients, is you're helping them make more money, right? As a lead generation agency, understand that your offer, your service is a making money offer. You're helping someone else make more money. And that service by itself is just super valuable. And that's part of the reason why selling lead generation as a service, it's relatively easy to sell, right? I've sold a bunch of different services in the past. I sold email marketing. I sold Facebook ads. I've sold a bunch of stuff. And those services, they're not quite as valuable because you running ads, you might generate leads, sure, but they also have to do ad spend, right? Or you're doing email marketing, like the Klaviyo stuff, that's more back end, and people don't necessarily equate that service towards you helping them make more money. But if you're selling cold emails, you're selling lead generation as a service, it's very easy for business owners to correlate you generating them sales calls and them making more money. So make sure that what you're selling as a step 1 is valuable, making sure that there's a tangible ROI. Step 2 is understand who are you selling to. So part of what makes it easy to sell lead generation for $2,000 to $3,000 is you got to make sure that you're selling to people with money, because you could have a Lamborghini. You have a Lamborghini that costs $500,000, 500K, let's say, and you're selling for $50,000. But if you're selling to someone who only makes $30,000 a year, they still wouldn't be able to buy that Lamborghini, even though you're selling it for 10% of what the market price is. And the reason why is because you're selling to people who do not have the financial ability to afford your services. So whatever niche that you select, whatever industry that you're selling your service to, your lead generation services to, make sure they have money. Because if you're working with business owners that are making $50,000 a month and more, they're making $100,000 a month, obviously they could easily afford $2,000 to $3,000. It's kind of a rounding error on their balance sheets, right? So making sure that you are selling to people with money is a very crucial part towards making sure that you're able to actually sell your services for several $1,000s. The other thing that you need to understand is, do they actually need help with your services? So another reason why you're able to sell lead generation for $2,000 to $3,000 is because you're solving a massive problem. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, that I see other people making, is they look at this business model as a get rich quick scheme, in the sense where, all right, I'm gonna just sell this for $2,000, and they don't really necessarily think of it as why people will pay them $2,000. Well, the reason why business owners will pay you $2,000 to $3,000 to do lead generation is because this is a problem that costs them tens of thousands of dollars. And if you're able to solve that, then $2,000 to $3,000 is peanuts in comparison to the value that you provide. So make sure they need your help, make sure they need your services, right? Again, one of the reasons why selling lead generation as a service is so easy to sell is because you know for a fact that business owners, they need more customers, they need more clients. The number one problem that business owners have is not enough customers. I want to make more money and I can't make more money because I don't have enough customers. That is the problem they're having. That is the pain point that they have. And if you're able to solve this problem, then you will be paid very handsomely, very well in proportion to the problem that you solve, right? So make sure the niche that you pick, they have money again, and they need your help. They have a problem that you could solve. Step 3 is, how do you actually gain their attention? Because we understand what you're selling, it's valuable, right? We're selling to the right people with money who have this specific problem, but how do you actually get their attention? How do you get as many eyeballs as humanly possible onto your offer? Because you can have the best product, you can have the best service, but if 3 people know about what you do and what you sell, then you're not gonna make money, because 3 is nothing, right? So how do you get as many people to know about what you do, right? And the easiest way to do that is by doing cold emails. So obviously, as a lead generation agency, you're using cold emails to get eyeballs, to generate traffic onto your own business. And then once you have clients, you're also using the exact same system, the exact same infrastructure, which is cold emails, to drive traffic onto your client's offer, onto your client's business. So using cold emails, you're able to generate traffic, right? And I think that's one of the benefits of using cold emails as well, because at the end of the day, there's only so many channels to generate traffic. There isn't like a million different channels. There's cold outbound. So cold emails is part of cold outbound. There is paid ads, so running Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, and there's inbound, so creating content and getting people, generating traffic, like random people to click on your YouTube video and generating traffic for your own business. And in the beginning, when you're first starting out, the easiest way to get started is by using cold outbound. Paid ads also work, but the downside of paid ads is you need to spend thousands of dollars. You need to have a couple thousands of dollars allocated towards ad spend capital. And if you don't have that, you're not going to generate traffic running $10 a day ads. That's just the truth. And there's a lot of people online telling you that you could start with $5 a day, $10 a day, even $50 a day. But I'm telling you right now that you will not generate any traffic even running your ads at $50 a day. It's just not going to work. So that leaves out paid ads, right? In the beginning, you're probably also not going to have that much content to pull traffic into your business, to generate eyeballs. So inbound content may not be the best strategy upfront. And also, creating content takes a lot of time, right? So you make one YouTube video, it's not just gonna randomly get thousands of views. It will take many different videos for you to create in order for you to create a consistent inbound traffic. So as a beginner, you also shouldn't necessarily be thinking, oh, I'm just gonna create 50 YouTube videos and I'll be good, because that's also not how it works. The most predictable way to generate traffic in the beginning of your business is by using cold outbound. So under cold outbound, there's cold emails, there's cold DMs, there's cold calling. And the one that I know the best, works the best, is cold emailing. And I'll explain why. The reason why cold emails work so well is because you're able to reach out to literally thousands of people, thousands of eyeballs for a relatively low price. And you could say, hey Jimmy, but can't you do that for cold calling? Can't you do that if I was to send Instagram DMs? The answer is yes, but it's also no. Because if you were to pick up the phone and you were to, call someone and cold call, well, guess what? Number one, it takes time, right? The average person who's doing cold calling, they can only do 30 to 50 cold calls per hour. So even if you're working 10 hours a day, which is, humanly impossible because you burn out really quickly, you're only doing 500 dials a day. And not every single person picks up. So 500 people by cold calling. Now on cold DMs, if you're to message people on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, there's a lot of account restrictions, right? I know when I was first starting my business, I looked into DMing people on Facebook and Instagram. And back then, so this was in October 2022, the limits were around 20 to 25 messages per account. So that means if you want to send 200 messages at $20, 20 messages an account, you would need 10 accounts. That's a logistical nightmare to set up. And it's just very unscalable because they get blocked and they get banned very, very quickly. So that leaves cold emails, where you're literally able to reach out to 2,000 to 3,000 new people every single day for a relatively low cost, right? So step 3 is figuring out how to get their attention. How do you generate traffic? And as a beginner, when you're first starting your business, the easiest way to do that is by using cold emails. That's just a fact. Step 4 is how do you actually warm up the leads? So how do you build trust with people who don't know you and people who don't like you? Because at the end of the day, when you're reaching out to people using cold emails, they don't know who you are. I can email John Smith and John Smith will look at the email and be like, who's Jimmy Fung? I've never heard of this guy. What does this guy do? Is he a scammer? Does he, what does he want from me? Those are the type of questions that people will be asking themselves when you are sending them a cold email. So what you have to figure out is how do you actually warm up your leads? Well, the easiest way to do that is by creating something called a VSL, a video sales letter. So what that is a short video that you can put on YouTube, you can put on the internet of you talking about who you are, what your business is, who you help, how you help, the specific outcome, and what that specific process is if someone wanted to work with you and work with your business. And these type of videos create a lot of trust. And the reason why is because we live in a time where there's a bunch of crazy things, right? There's a lot of AI stuff. You never even know if the people who are reaching out to you, if they're real people. For all you know, they're just made up people or AI generated avatars. And that's part of the reason why the video sales letter works extremely well. Because you're creating a video just like this one, like the one that you're watching right now, where you're able to see, oh, this is Jimmy Fung. This is what he looks like. He's a male, he's a man. This is what he sounds like. This is how old he is. This is how he talks. All of these different things goes a long way towards adding trust because at least people know that you're real and that you exist. So you got to figure out when you're reaching out to cold traffic, what can you do to warm up your leads and build trust with people who don't know you and people who don't like you? And the answer is to create a VSL. So after you figure that out, we move into step 5, which is selling your service. How do you actually close deals on a Zoom call? Because you're generating a lot of traffic. These people know you, these people like you, and they want to talk with you to see what your services look like and what it can look like for their own business. You'll be doing that over a Zoom call. How do you actually sell these people? Because if you don't do it the right way, then people are going to jump on. They're going to think to themselves, oh, this guy's not a professional. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just going to charge money and run away with my money. So it's very important that you understand and you figure out how to sell your service. Ask good questions, right? It's not rocket science. There's a lot of people on the internet making different videos about their sales script. How do you actually sell to people? And what I've realized, because when I was first starting up my business, I spent a lot of time trying to build my sales script, the perfect sales script, watching a bunch of different live sales calls and stuff like that. And what I realized is at the end of the day, a sales call is just a regular conversation between two people, maybe a little bit more, right? If there's two business owners that you're selling to, right? But at the end of the day, it's just a regular conversation. You're jumping onto the Zoom call, you have a valuable service because you solve a massive problem, and they are there, the business owner is there because they have a massive problem and they're hoping that you have the solution that can help them out. And if you do have the solution, then obviously they're gonna pay you. That's literally all the sales conversation is. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more, there's a little bit more nuance behind that, because you obviously want to be asking them good questions. You want to figure out what their current situation is in their business. You want to understand what the problems are, how they're currently generating meetings, generating sales, getting new customers. And then you want to qualify them a little bit, because not every single person that you chat with on the Zoom call are qualified, right? Some people just make it through the process, make it through your funnel, and you speak with them and they believe cold emails is spamming. They think cold emails is illegal, or they just don't have the money, or they're just looking around the tire kickers, or they have no interest in ever working with you or working with any other lead generation agency. You need to ask them qualifying questions to make sure that you're only selling to people who can afford your services, people who are ready to move forward, and people who believe that cold emails work. That's all part of step 5, which is selling your service, and a really easy way to increase your sales ability. Because if you're watching this video and you're trying to start your lead generation agency for the first time, there's a pretty good chance that you don't have that much sales experience. If you have a lot of sales experience, then this will be pretty easy for you. But if you've never sold a single service before, ever, then obviously there's going to be a bit of a learning curve, because you're not going to know how to have that sales conversation. The easiest way to do that is by leveraging something called pre-nurturing assets. So from the time someone sets up a call with you and the time you actually chat with them over Zoom, make sure you're sending them content, send them emails, just email reminders, send them content back to your VSL, send them to your YouTube channel if you have one, talking about the cold emails, talk about service, talk about your business. And all of these things will go a massive way towards increasing trust. Because at the end of the day, again, people don't know you, people don't know who you are, people don't trust you, and people don't like you. And you should never expect anyone to have any of these 3 things. But the more you're able to get in front of their face, like not in a intrusive way, but the more you're able to get in front of their face, the easier it will be for you to sell your service. So make sure you're leveraging something called pre-nurturing assets. So these are the 5 steps to getting to $10,000 a month. And it's actually relatively simple. If you focus on these 5 steps, it will be close to impossible for you not to make money selling lead generation as a service and for your lead generation agency. So the next step is breaking down the math, because obviously a lot of people struggle with this process is step 3, which is how do you get attention? How do you generate traffic for your business? And obviously what we're talking about is using cold emails. And a lot of people, they struggle with that because they don't know how to write the good cold emails. They don't know how to write good subject lines. They don't know how to do any of these things. So I'm going to break down the math to show you why cold emails is truly the best channel in the beginning to scale your business from 0 all the way to 10K, from 0 all the way to 30K, from 0 all the way to $50,000 a month inside of your lead generation agency. So breaking down the math, this was a campaign that I launched in March 2024. So right now it's April. So I did this literally last month. So what I'm talking about works, and it works extremely well. As we can see, I started a campaign on March 24th, and over the course of the month, so this happened entirely in March, I reached out to 17,000 business owners. And this leads me back to my point. How long will it take you to reach out to 17,000 people if you were to picking up the phone to cold call them, or if you were to send DMs? The answer is it will take you too long to count, which is why cold emails is superior, because it allows you to reach out to a bunch of people, thousands of people, for a relatively low cost and an extremely leveraged way. So over the course of the month, I was able to reach out to 17,000 business owners. I got 2.5K total replies, so 2,534 total replies. That's 18.9% reply rate. This math is a little bit skewed because the way Smartlead, so I'm using smartlead.ai, which is the automation tool to actually send the cold emails. So again, right, I'm not manually sending cold emails to 17,000 people. What I'm doing is I'm writing different scripts, I'm scraping leads, and the process of sending emails and the follow-ups is extremely automated. So this process doesn't take me a lot of time, which again leads me back to my point. Name another channel where you're able to reach out to thousands of people in a highly automated way. I'll wait because there's none. But anyway, so of these 17,000 people, 13,000 people opened the email. So I had a 78% open rate. Of these 13,000 people, I got 2.5K replies. So I got an 18.9% reply rate. And of these 2.5K replies, I got 300 people who were positive, who are interested in hearing what I had to say and seeing how I could potentially help them. So these are 300 people who literally replied back to me saying something like, hey, Jimmy, I'll be interested in hearing more. Hey, Jimmy, I want to learn how you can help me generate sales opportunities. Hey, Jimmy, I'll be interested in figuring out how you can help me get more customers. So you got 300 positive replies. And if we break down the math, right? So again, 17K total leads. I got 13K opens at 78%. I got an 18% reply rate, so 2.5K replies. Of these 2.5K replies, I got 301 positive replies. With these 301 positive replies, let's assume that I was able to book them in at 50% booking rate, which is actually on the lower end because these are people who actively replied back saying, hey, Jimmy, I'm interested in hearing what you have, right? So these are people who are already interested, but let's assume that I have a 50% booking rate. From the 50% of people, of these 300 people who were interested in what I had, 50% of them booked a sales call. So that means I had 150 sales calls in this single month. And let's assume of these 150 sales calls, 80% of people showed up because obviously not every single person who books a call will actually show up. People get busy, they forget, or people get nervous, whatever the case is, and they just don't show up to the actual sales call. So let's assume I had an 80% show up rate, meaning I took 120 sales calls. And of these 120 sales calls, let's assume that 35% of them are actually qualified. And what I mean by that is I'm at the point in my own lead generation agency where I want to prioritize working with the top tier clients, the clients who I know for a fact are the best. So there's a lot of people who book sales calls with me and they want to work with me. They want to pay me money, pay me thousands of dollars for me to run their cold email system. But I just don't want to work with them because maybe I don't like their offer. Maybe I don't like their vibes. I don't like that. I don't like the way they move, whatever the case is. So in my process for my own lead generation agency, I make sure I qualify extremely, extremely hard. In the beginning, when you're first starting your business, you probably don't want to be qualifying that hard. You kind of just want to work with people who are interested in working with you, right? That's the nature of it. In the beginning, you kind of just want to work with as many people as possible to make money up front, to get experience, and to just be put in a bunch of different scenarios where you're able to just learn the quickest way possible. Because if you're working with 10 different clients, you're gonna learn a lot quicker than only working with 1 or 2 clients, right? It's pretty simple. But inside my business, my own lead generation agency, I make sure I qualify super, super hard because I don't want to be working with everybody, with anyone who just throws money at me. So there's 42 qualified people, so 35%. Yours will probably be higher, at least in the beginning, because you're not going to be as strict with the qualifying aspect of your sales calls. Let's assume I close at 25% closing rate. And I'm just going to tell you right now that 25% is extremely low. Inside my own business, I close somewhere between 40 and 60%, depending on who I sell to and the time of the year that I sell to. The industry standard is around 25%. So let's assume that you're closing at 25% closing rate. What that means is I closed 10 clients. And let's say I was charging $3,500 setup fee. So obviously in the beginning, you might not be charging $3,500. My first client paid me $3,000. For you, when you're first starting your business, make sure you're charging between $2,000 and $3,000, right? You could go lower. There's a lot of people I know who charge lower than that, $1,000, $1,500, but make sure you're trying to charge as much money as possible. And the reason why is a lot of it is just mindset, because there's a lot of people out there who can afford to pay $2,000 to $3,000 to get this system set up, the cold email infrastructure set up. Because again, you're solving a massive problem. If paying you $2,000 will mean that they make back $20,000, any business owner will do that. It's pretty simple math, right? There's a clear return on investment there. So for me, for my business, I like to charge $3,500 setup. So what that means is that's $35,000 in new revenue. And here's a screenshot of this. So obviously this formula is, a little bit rough. For example, I don't necessarily have an 80% show up rate. It might be 79, or it might be 81, it might be 82, but I just put 80%, right? I just put 35% qualifying rate. It's a little bit different. So these are just generic numbers. But as you can see, using this mathematics, I was able to generate 10 new clients and make $35,000 in new revenue. And it just so happened that in the month of March, my agency made $35,000 in new revenue, right? So I'm sure the math was a little bit different. It was probably similar, but the specific numbers were different. But my agency was able to make $35,000, right? It's literally this simple. It's literally this simple to make $1,000 a day, right? So don't overcomplicate it. The next thing that I want to show you is kind of what my online presence looks like. Because if we remember what step 4 is how do you warm up the leads? How do you build trust with people who don't know you and people who don't trust you? And the easiest way to do that is by having an online presence. Because if I'm reaching out to people over cold emails as Jimmy Fung, the first thing that people will do is they'll Google my name. They'll search up my business, salesway.io. They'll see what that looks like. They'll see if I actually exist. And if people Google your name and you don't exist, then it's gonna look super suspicious, right? Because it just looks super suspicious. So here is what my online presence looks like. When people search me up, they'll see my YouTube channel, Jim Fung, right? I have 65 videos over here talking about cold emails, talking about business. So a ton of credibility and a bunch of proof to show that I'm an expert and I know what I'm talking about. Here's what my LinkedIn looks like, right? I have a simple LinkedIn page talking with a headline, a clear banner photo, a clear photo of myself. I should probably update this because this photo was taken 2 years ago when I was a lot younger. So I look really young here, but this is what my LinkedIn profile looks like. You guys probably search this up and you find it. And here is what my website looks like, salesway.io. So right now it's actually closed. So if you search it up yourself, you're not gonna be able to go on the website. And the reason why is I'm actually rebuilding the website now. But this is what my website looks like. It's not anything fancy. It's not anything crazy. It's not the best looking landing page, but it just works, right? So here's what my website looks like, and this is what my online presence looks like. So anyone who receives a cold email from me, they search up Jimmy Fung, they search up my company, salesway.io. These are the 3 things that they will automatically see when they search that up onto Google. So it adds a lot of proof, it adds a lot of credibility, and it goes a super long way towards building trust. So this is kind of what that looks like. And to show you that what I'm talking about is actually simpler than you think. And this actually just works. And if you implement this process, you will also make money and you also get clients for your own lead generation business. Understand that this has been done before, not even just with me. So obviously I've done it, but I'm just one person, but it's been done with many other people as well. And it's being done right now in 2024. So a lot of people, I know when I was first, starting my business, I was looking around to see what the different business models out there are. The biggest problem is a lot of people are talking about strategies that worked 2 years ago, that worked 3 years ago, and that do not work anymore. So understand that everything that I talked to you about in today's video, it works right now. So on top of the fact that I literally launched a campaign in March, so like a month ago, and this process works, I'm gonna show you some more proof of other people. And notice the dates, right? Notice the dates. All of these people, I was looking through some of the people that I'm working with right now, helping them build their lead generation agencies and people who are making money. And I strategically pulled out case studies and screenshots of people who are doing this right now, who recently won in the month of March. And obviously there's a bunch more, but I'm just gonna use these examples because I got lazy and I didn't want to spend too much time looking for all of these screenshots. But as you can see, Chino, right? So I used to run the program on Slack, but this happened in February 22nd. Okay, let's say February 21st. He got his second client for $1,500 setup, right? On March 21st, so like a month later, he got to 6 clients for $3,000 setup. So he using this exact same process, he's charging $3,000 and he's making money. Or let's look at Tyler, right? Let's look at the dates. March 8th, right? He signed his first client at $2,500 setup. He signed his second client for $1,500. He signed his third client at $2,500 as well, right? And this all happened in the month of March. Or look at Kevin. This just happened last week. So in April, Kevin, he signed his first client for $3,500. He signed his second client that same day on April 2nd as well, right? So using this process, he signed his very first client for $3,500. Or let's look at Brian. So obviously this says today, but I think this happened in March, right? He signed a client for $3,000 setup fee, right? Or him, right? So March 19 at 9:31 p.m., he signed his first client for a $2,000 setup. So using this exact same process, it works, and it works right now. And if you're watching this video and you have any doubts as to if this process works in 2024, I'm telling you right now that this process works in 2024, and you need to take action, because what works today may not work tomorrow. It may not work in 2 weeks. It may not work in half a year. And you just got to take the opportunities that are right in front of you. So here are my key takeaways at the end of this video, right? Here are my key takeaways of how to make $1,000 a day, or you're first starting out, how to make $333 a day. Make sure that you're focusing on selling a valuable service and packaging it up with a Grand Slam offer. Make sure you are working with a niche that has a problem you can solve and makes enough money so then you can go on and charge $2,000 to $3,000 every single month. Make sure you're focusing on building trust. So again, I can't stress this enough. Understand that the people that you reach out to, they don't know who you are, they don't trust you, and they also do not like you. So make sure you're focusing on building trust. How do you do that? Well, make sure that you exist online. When people Google you up, make sure you have a LinkedIn. Make sure you have a YouTube channel. Make sure you exist on different social platforms, and make sure you have a website. You need to be waking up every single day and asking yourself, what can I do today to generate more attention, generate more eyeballs onto my business, onto what I do? How do I generate more traffic? And again, right, the easiest way to do that for beginners is running cold emails. That's just a fact. Understand that if you book enough meetings for yourself, if you generate enough sales calls, you will make money. So even if you've never sold a single thing in your life, or even if you're terrible at sales, you're telling yourself, oh, I've never sold anything in my life, I probably suck. Understand that if you generate 100 sales calls, you will make money, right? That's just a fact, right? You might not sell, if you only have 5 sales calls, you might not sell to a single dude, right? You might not be able to sell 1 in 5, but if you're generating 100 sales calls, I guarantee you, you will sell 1 in 100. It's just simple mathematics. If you book enough meetings for yourself, for your business, you will make money. You will make sales. Make sure you're focusing on solving massive problems for business owners. So look at this as an opportunity to deliver value. You're helping business owners solve a massive problem. I can't stress this enough. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The more value that you provide, the bigger the problem that you solve, the more money that you make. That's the fundamental law of business, and you need to understand that if you want to make money in business. Nothing is a get-rich-quick scheme, and the more value you provide, the larger problem you solve, the more money you make. So that's pretty much this video. I hope you found this video valuable. If you are looking to start your own lead generation agency, or let's say you already run a lead generation agency and you want more additional help scaling from 0 or where you are right now to $10,000 a month in the next 90 days, then I included a link to my calendar in the link below. We can set up a time to chat, right? Because even though this process is easy, it's very, very simple. It's not easy, right? I think I messed that up. It's simple, but not easy. It's simple, but not easy, right? But this also isn't rocket science. So if you take what I share with you in today's video and you actually take action, then you will make money. But you're probably gonna run into different problems, different questions along the way. And if you want to just accelerate that entire process and get to $10,000 a month in the next 90 days, then let's set up a time to chat. But at the end of the day, again, right, if you follow through what I shared with you in today's video, if you go through my YouTube channel and you watch some of my other content talking about building and running a lead generation agency, you will make money. And that's kind of the purpose why I make these videos. But that's kind of all I had to say for today. Hope you found this video valuable. Hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you press that like button. Make sure you drop me a subscribe. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments down below. But I'll see you in the next video. See ya. Bye-bye.